What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Clubs, episode 82. I'm Dylan, alongside Mila and Grant, as always. And you guys know the rules. Every time Arsenal drop points, we have our Arsenal fan come on and spew propaganda to help his team get through their dark periods. Facundo, welcome back.
So I was hoping to never be invited back. Thanks.
Well, you are back, and you are going to have to talk about your team. You did text us not to rage bait you, or how much you're going to get rage baited. I hope we don't do that to you.
Sure.
But you never know. You never know. We will talk about that game to start with. We'll talk about United going to the Emirates and winning 3-2. We'll then switch gears to City. We'll talk about them getting right against Wolves before finally going over to Chelsea. And we'll talk about Racinier getting his fourth win in his first 5 with Chelsea. I don't know. It should be a good one. Hopefully not too long, but every time we say that, that means that we're in for at least an hour and a half, right? Yeah.
Sorry, Alex. Yeah.
All right, let's kick on into it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Clubs. I'm Dylan. Please, they just got punched in the mouth. They didn't even know how to react.
That is one Derby Diamond.
I'm Mila. Do we want to do a little prediction? That was the last time they showed initiative to go get a fucking player.
Good, still alive here. Balotelli. Aguero.
I'm Grant. They're talking a lot about you 15. How will you respond 15? We downgraded from Peppa. Do you know how absurd that is?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's match day.
Alrighty. As Mila said in the intro, should we do some predickies? Or a super predicky? But all of us went at least 2 for 3. The Grant show continues as he predicted United to draw or lose. I can't remember, but every time Grant does that,
I predicted a 1-0 loss. Gabriel goal.
Yep, and that means that United will win.
Worked out.
It is a curse that continues to live on forever and ever and ever. We'll see if that
changes. You guys
changes.
have who do you have next week?
I can't remember. I'll look it up midway through the show. It's probably Fulham. I think it's Fulham or something like that. We'll figure it out. But
okay,
hey, we're here to do our plug. We hit 200 subscribers. It finally happened. So thank you guys. Really cool moment for us, and the last 3 months have been super great. So we appreciate the support and the new followers. We try to do daily content, so follow us on social medias and here, and do what the bottom left says, like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. Alrighty, Facundo. We're going to talk about the United section of this first. I have it titled as it's Carrick, I said that in my 5 things because that's how I was feeling. I don't need to sing it again because nobody needs to hear me sing twice in 2 straight videos. It's not smart. I am on cloud 9. If you want to hear my thoughts as a super fanboy United lover, you can go to the 5 things video and check that out. It got posted today. There's a good blooper in there if you make it through at least halfway. But I'll kick it over to you, Grant, to start. You predicted the 1-0 loss. Your jinx lives on today. So what did you see from United and Carrick in a 3-2 win?
Man, I definitely have to say I'm thoroughly impressed so far. I mean, we saw how long it took for United just to string 2 wins together, and then Carrick walks in and does it against City and Arsenal. I think that's incredibly impressive, and they're playing a completely different way, right? I mean, I'm seeing it right now with my manager coming in the middle of the season. He's going kind of off the blueprint we were already working with, just trying to tweak little things, not much. Carrick is completely revamping the way they're playing, and you're just really seeing the quality shine through. I mean, up until the equalize, definitely a gift. Arsenal were on top of the game. They had a deserved 1-0 lead, but they turned it around. You saw quality show. I thought Casemiro was fantastic. Mainu as well in the midfield. I don't even think Bruno really had one of his better games, but just the quality up front and taking advantage of every opportunity, taking advantage of the momentum being given to you as well. I think it showed a lot of maturity in that performance. The players seem to have understood really just the assignment. It feels like United. I think that was one of the things I said, that with Amorim, it was starting to lose the feeling of what United are all about. And I feel like, obviously, it's one of the guys who's been there before in charge, but it's starting to feel like you're getting those vibes back. And I think that's something that's important. It's not tangible, but it's huge.
Yeah. there was a different feeling to that. Mila, as a team that desperately needed United to pick up 3 points here after they did that to you the week prior, what did you see? Was it more of the same, or did you see this in as a different light?
I thought it was. I think I'd be inspired if I was a United fan. Watching that is the best way I could put it. I'm not sure that I'm convinced yet, just because regardless of who the manager is, these games tend to be winnable. Not saying that you guys go into it being the favorites, but you guys can win these games no matter what form you're in, just because they're big games. But I do think just the energy and the shift of energy that's come from the change of manager and the faith in Carrick has been huge. You look at the belief in some of these guys to go out there and play their best game, I think is probably the biggest thing that you've seen in the past, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Yeah, I think whatever he's doing in that sense has been huge for the team, and that's where you're seeing some of these wonder goals from that you probably wouldn't have seen with Amorim. These guys believe in themselves again. Some of the guys that were almost down and out look good again. I think it's a good sign of going in the right direction, but I wouldn't get too excited just yet. I think that's a conversation for later in the pod. But
yeah, well, I mean, I'm gonna get carried away, so that's my job as the United fan. This pod, Facundo, it is time for you to finally speak your piece on. Let's focus on the United aspect. Did you expect this coming into the match? Like, even after watching them play against City, do you think that United could go into Emirates and pull off a performance like this?
Yeah. I mean, this team has the talent to do that. I think that was probably what stood out in this game. Is I'm of the opinion that we gifted you guys a lot of the chances in the first half. And then that loss of momentum, I thought in the second half, we lost a lot of duels. And, I mean, Dorgu and Cunha hit wonder strikes. And, like, respect, right? They have the quality to be able to put that in. A deserving win for United. I thought we did it to ourselves. But, yeah, I mean, I don't mean this to sound disrespectful, but, like, I had zero faith in your previous manager. So, like, literally anything other than him is a slight improvement already. You know what I'm saying? Like, even just playing a back four and having a bit more structure in how you're defending is making a massive difference. And you'll probably touch on this a little bit later, but Mbumo, Bruno, Dorgu, and then Cunha had very good games and put the ball where they needed to in the crucial moments of the game. And yeah, United deservingly walk away with 3 points, I think.
Yeah, that's honestly the takeaway that I've had from the last two matches. It felt deserved, whereas under Amorim or even under other managers, like, we walked into these games and it didn't feel deserved. And while I thought Arsenal were the better team for the first 30, once you guys scored, it didn't feel like that from the rest of the game. And that probably just chalked up to a little bit of mentality, a little bit of graft, like just kind of knowing the situation. I'm surprised that, if anything, if there's any one thing that I can give Amorim credit for, is these guys' mentality is a little bit back, whereas I feel like in other years they would have crumbled. I think he does deserve credit for their energy levels and their intensity and their work rate and all that stuff, because that was harped on a lot. So I'm not going to say that he did nothing, but tactically, to your point, it looks like these guys are more comfortable. They look like they're playing with free spirit, free energy, and they're just kind of free flowing. And that free flowing nature is chalked up to having some of the best talent in the league. It just is. And that's where I'm going to carry this conversation into, which is I'm starting to think United have one of, if not the best front lines in the entire league. And I think they're starting to prove that week over week now. I'll let you guys kind of take reign now over this kind of conversation, because I want to hear it from opponents' perspective. And then we can, I'll say some stats that kind of are leading me to this idea.
what were we including in your guys' forward line?
The guys that should be, or the entire forward line, which would be Mbumo, Dorgu, Ahmed, Cunha, C.O.C. right?
And then who are we but like we're comparing that to
Bruno?
like
to the
like a
right. So
Holland,
just like let's just
Doku, Foden,
Cherokee.
like
I'm
if
just
I'm
thinking
tacking up
forwards, attackers.
now Semenyo.
attackers.
Yeah,
We'll tack on Brunos and Reinders to those, like that conversation. Like,
I think it's totally fair to say that they're one of the best in the league, but then I just lifted off the players on my team, and I can't say that it's better. I think we could definitely argue for hours on it, but
I think they sit at the
just
same
based on pure
table as some of the
stats.
best attacks in the league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's definitely they belong in the conversation. And I also think a big part of it that makes it stand out is how much you've upgraded just in the past year. Like you had Xerxes up front, and now you have Gunman up front. Like it's night and day difference. I mean, I'm seeing Garnacho now, right? And now you have a guy like Cunha and Mbumo. You have real gunmen up there. Like it's different. Like you got rid of the clowns in your attack and you replace them with quality attackers. So yeah, for a new coach to come in and have those toys to play with and kind of just say, hey, go do your thing. Like it's working right now. But to Mila's point, like it is the big game. So I kind of want to see it against, the Fulhams of the world, but
that's what I was going to say.
Fantastic front line, no doubt.
So the stat that I have is in the games that they've been healthy. So the 2 before AFCON and then the 2 after AFCON, United have scored 13 goals in 4 games with those guys involved. And that's the best across the entire league during that stretch. Like they did it against the Burnleys and the Wolves of the world, and they did it against the City and the Arsenals of the world. So they're doing it against both of those fronts now, and they've done it under 2 different managers, which I think just states is more of a sentiment on the quality of the players themselves, right? And the versatility of said players. Like Mbumo, to be labeled as a right winger, right 10, and then to be playing a striker position and to have back-to-back games with goals up top, right? That's versatility in itself against the team.
He played up top last year, no, with Wissa?
Sometimes, right? But it was off like he's
like a Mo. He's an inside forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an attacker.
And then for United, I said this multiple times, like, that's great if you want to start Garnacho last season, but who are you bringing off the bench? Who's going to be that impact sub? Like Mateus Cunha being your impact sub, that's one of the best
him being
impact
happy
subs in the
to
entire league.
Be an impact sub and come on and put in 110%, I think is a huge thing that isn't talked about enough when it comes to you guys, at least outside of the United space. He's been sick in the way that he just comes on and runs his ass off. And I think that's going to rub off on other players too. And him getting going with a goal like that, I think is only good for you guys.
Yeah, the idea that he could be your spark against tired legs it's ridiculous. Like,
where does Mason Mount
carry
get
the ball
into
past everyone?
When does he doesn't?
Yeah, where does he fit in?
He doesn't. But that was the same thing that we talked about last season. He didn't fit last season because he was never healthy. So United need to move off him. Right?
Is he hurt now though? Because he's
playing
on the bench. Decent footy. So he could also just adjust the expectation of minutes. I guess that's fair.
Like his fit now is where Cunha comes in. And Cunha
they don't even have cup games. He's not going to play.
Yeah.
I think that he will get minutes, but I don't think it comes against City and Arsenal and Liverpool and the big clubs. I think it comes against teams like the bottom half where Arsenal, you're not going to start Cunha against Arsenal because you need to play off the back foot. United are going to have to play off the back foot. I expect Cunha to start some games here. Like Dorgu is a great vertical athlete. Like when you don't have those vertical spaces, you're probably better off playing a guy like Cunha or Mount in those spaces, right? So I think this just kind of goes to my point of versatility. Like I think United have an option to do that on all fronts. Like you want to throw Cunha in the 9, they can do that. You want to throw Sesko up there to be the target man, you can do that. You want to play Dorgu on the wing, sure, or Ahmed on the wing, it works. Like they've just got so much fluidity. And honestly, in terms of this matchup that we just watched, like that was the difference. Because I mean this, it's going to sound like a backhanded compliment, but Arsenal are one of the best out of possession teams I've ever seen, and maybe one of the worst in possession teams I've ever seen. And that's a byproduct of Arteta's system, right? Because you have so much control, but you don't have the personnel right now to implement that because every team just sends 2 to Saka, and then you're just saying, okay, like beat us with Trossard and Jesus. And Trossard has done that at points this year, but you're not doing that with Jesus and Gyökeres. I think we've seen that over a large enough sample size to tell me that it's not going to happen. Do you see that any different, Facundo?
I mean, are we just transitioning into this now? It's the cracks are showing.
No, we you know what? We can if you want
I don't know. We can I see where you're coming from. I think my biggest issue is we don't move the ball fast enough. Just to keep it short, I just think you can play the side to side. It's just got to be a little bit quicker. And I think the league's evolved over the last couple of years where like having control is fine, but the way teams play nowadays with just 10 men in the box, like you can't just be stagnant. You're going to have to take some risks. And right now, I think we talk about it after this game. I don't necessarily think that's a problem because when they turn it on, they've shown they can do it. It's just you haven't been champions yet, so I don't think you can pick and choose when you turn it on. You kind of just have to be as consistent as possible throughout the year. But I'll get into some of this stuff later.
Yeah. Let's wrap up the United section with, is it time to get carried away? Mila already kind of mentioned no. I'm going to say, fuck yeah. I think you should just put the contract in front of Carrick and we should get as carried away as we want and just like let him sign whatever. The Rio meme where he's like, just put the paper in front of him. Let him sign it. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
That's not
the reason
not
is but. No, I know. But like the reason is like it's 2 games against, let's be honest, Max Elaine and Kusanov, who had played 1-2 games before that together. And yeah, you guys dominated, but it's 2 games at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The other one was Arsenal, and you guys made goals out of nothing. But then when you play Fulham this weekend, can you get 3 points? That's the big thing.
I don't know.
I know what I'm
and
predicting.
it's been so long since you guys have even had 5 in a row. Like it's like
we've only had
someone has
2 in a row like once over the last.
I know. That's the thing too. Like the expectation may be low.
I do agree, Mila.
But we need to see more.
The expectation, it's so relative with United because of how shocking the last manager was. Me and Facundo share that sentiment. I think let alone going from that to would have been good, but I also do think Carrick is doing a good job. But to Mila's point, those are 2 huge games. United were still getting up for huge games under Amorim. I think this will be really important in what this game looks like against Fulham. Not necessarily even just the result, but really how the 90 minutes look. You've had a week to game plan. It's not going to be, it's Fulham, like we're getting up for no, like it's just going to be a week of work, and we're going to see what he puts out there. It'll probably be, like you were just saying, I think they probably changed the attack, right? Fulham are probably going to defend. So I think it's going to be interesting. That's where I really want to take a look. But yeah, if he keeps continuing in this way, which is, again, he set an incredibly high standard with these first 2 games, yeah, I definitely think he deserves to be considered for the job. But again, unless it's just something nuts, because it's really only league games for the rest of the season, I think it'd be hard to give him the job at any point during this season. I think you'll have more than enough by the end of the year. But yeah, he definitely deserves
That's another thing too.
Have a conversation. Yeah.
That's a good point that it is just league games. I mean, do you think he'd be able to handle, like at this point it looks like Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup?
That's where I think the getting carried away conversation comes into me. Is I think that these 2 results have made it Champions League or bust. Like they've put themselves in a position where that should be the end goal. Not that it wasn't before, but I think before it was like, with these 2 games, the manager getting sacked, like, can you get Europe? Can you be good enough to get yourself in a spot where you're playing twice a week for extended periods? And now I think it's like United have to catapult themselves back into Champions League and knocking off your 2 hardest games for the rest of the season in back-to-back weeks. And Carrick doing that, that's what's impressive. And that's where I am going to get carried away, because if we're being honest, we rewind the tape 2 weeks ago when we lost to Brighton and Fletcher was still in charge. Like nobody saw this coming. Nobody saw United coming in and beating City and then beating Arsenal at the Emirates where they had not lost. That just wasn't in the cards. So I'm getting carried away on the idea that this team is much better than I think we all thought they were. The perceived notion of what this team was talent-wise is night and day different after these two results for me. And over the course of the season against the best teams, they have proven that they are that good. It's just the question of can they beat the bad teams? And under the last manager, they weren't able to. But under a new manager, can they be? That's the question.
I mean, it's not even a bad team. Like Fulham win this game, they're 1 point behind you guys in the table.
Right. No, not to say
So it's like it's just but yeah, I do want to see if they can grade it out in the games that are a little bit harder to get up for. Like Grant was saying, it's just another day in the office type of thing, but you still need to go get the points. You're still competing. Fulham's they're not just going to roll over. Not saying that City or Arsenal did, but just because they're not of the same stature of those two clubs, like it's still going to be hard to compete. And like when I was watching it with Dari, and I asked him, I was like, does it, like, I'm not asked him, but I was like, it could be a Robin Hood thing right now, so I don't want to get carried away with anything. And that's also why you guys shouldn't get carried away with anything, because it happened. We've seen this a lot. Teams beat the good teams, and they drop points to the bad teams, and they end up mid-table. So I need to see more.
Yeah.
It's just such a small sample size, and that's the only thing I think.
No.
But the two displays have been like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. I don't think you can ask for much more.
I've enjoyed watching it. I've definitely enjoyed watching it. It's been fun to watch as a neutral, even though I have my allegiances.
It'll be interesting to see if they've kind of strived in a little bit of chaos. And both Arsenal and City let them play with that chaos, to your guys' point. Like, will a team like Fulham away from home allow them to play in that chaos? That I'm not sure. And can United break down those shapes?
There's also tape on you now. There's also tape on you now.
There's tape, and then also Fulham like the chaos too. Harry Wilson can hit a last-minute banger out of nowhere also. Like, it's not just... It's the Premier League. At the end of every game's going to be a fucking dogfight, and they have to show that they can do that for an extended period of time and not just a new manager bounce against two of your biggest rivals ever. Like, I think that's just a no-brainer for me that they're going to be up for it with the new manager, biggest rivals. They should be up for it. There's nothing to say that they have to get prepared for it. Fulham, on the other hand, like, this means something, yes, but I'm not convinced, but I don't think it's fair to say convinced, because what am I basing that off of? But I'm not sure that they're going to be able to do that.
No. We are all seeing United in a different light today, but that doesn't mean that they've proven that they are good in all lights or in all aspects. And I think that's where we should leave it. Because now, oh, yes. Yes. So I said I wasn't going to try and rage bait you, but I'm going to say things that might happen to rage bait you. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. There's a good chance. I'm going to let you start, though, before we let you get rage baited or not. But you watched this, I assume, not with a ton of happiness throughout the full 90. So what did you see? And we'll let you steer the conversation in that direction from there.
As soon as we gave away the first chance, I texted Grant and I said, we turn into idiots after going up a goal. And I don't want to say I've seen it so many times, but it's just like, if I looked at a chart with how many of your team's mistakes leads to opponents' goals, I swear to God, we would be number one in it. That's what it feels like when I watch us play. So I don't know. I think I'm trying to understand what my expectations are, I guess. I think this team is learning to play every 3 days, which I think is incredibly hard. As a fan, sometimes you just kind of want them to seem like they care for every second of however many minutes they play in that match. And I think sometimes you can kind of just forget how tiring that stuff is consistently. So I don't want to I'm not trying to make excuses, but I think part of it is they are tired emotionally from feeling like they have to win like everything that it's kind of getting to them in terms of like they're making games way more complicated than they need to be consistently. And the margins are just so tight that emotionally going through that consistently, I think, is a negative. And today you go up a goal and then you just sloppy technically, sloppy psychologically, like you kind of just concede to the momentum. So I think that's a bit of my frustration. And then on top of it, it's just, and we touched on this a little bit earlier, is the ball just moves really slow. Even when you're moving it side to side, you got to do it a little bit quicker. And I think the frustrating part is that you've seen it in moments, like Sunderland away the second half. I thought that was much better, like quick, what you needed to. You're taking some risk. You're playing down the middle. So for that, I don't know. It's just like a lot of the same frustrations creeping back in. I don't necessarily think that means they'll bottle it. I just think they've got to be more comfortable playing with leads in games. And when you have an opportunity to go 11 points clear in the league, you make sure you take advantage of it. And we're playing with our food right now, and we're making it more complicated than it needs to be. So mentally, physically, everything by the end of the campaign, you might be dead when you could have been running away with it a little bit more, if that makes sense.
I think the point you're making, how they emotionally they're not there. I feel like it's because every game just feels like such a big event, right? Like everything feels like game 7. And I feel like that's too many highs to when you lose and now you end up in the dumps. Now it's 2 points in your last 3 Premier League games. So I think in my head, that's kind of what it is for you guys. That you're making too much of all of these games because, like you said, they're chasing it. They have not been champions yet. So you kind of need that before you can really be comfortable in that situation in these circumstances. But I also do think the attack, I thought Eze would be a lot more impactful for a variety of reasons. Worked out so far, but he almost kind of seemed like that solution to low blocks, a big part of it, having some creativity. But like you said, they're just not playing the ball quick enough. I believe that's what led to the first goal. They could have played a ball further ahead, and instead it got played back to Saliba, who then Zubamendi, and then assists Mbumo's goal. But yeah, I think the cracks are definitely showing, but like I've been consistent on the not much else is really behind them, kind of like what we talked about last year with Liverpool running away. So I did think they would be comfortably clear by now. But yeah, it's starting to get unsustainable now. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, they struggle with the ball. Not that they aren't controlling games, because I think there's like a difference between controlling and dominating, if that makes sense. Mila, I feel like you have
you could control possession,
Yeah.
but
You have to
the
do
threat
something with
is
it.
the corner.
No,
The
I've
threat
definitely
is the corner.
seen the worst
You're
of
not
it.
worried about
That's-
them in open play.
what Grant's saying is definitely a big issue, but I think it comes down to personnel, like you were saying, like 15 minutes ago, Dylan. To me, this is a byproduct of overhyping Odegaard. Because if he was De Bruyne level, that guy would be fucking making shit happen and making assists. And then we could say that's maybe because the lack of striker that's not putting away those chances. But I don't see Odegaard as that type of player to just make something out of nothing. And that's not me shitting on him. I do think he is a good player. It's just what he was compared to in De Bruyne. They're not the same player whatsoever. And to me, Arsenal's still lacking a creator. Right now, it's very one way. Saka is a good player, but they're just doing one thing with him. He's just spamming crosses. So if he's not going to create and Odegaard's not going to create, then where are the goals supposed to come from? And if Eze's not going to get minutes off the bench, where are the goals coming from? Madueke? Martinelli? Like I don't understand what is expected at this point when you put out the lineup that you put out, you build the team that you build. I don't know. This is just all kind of what I expected. Not to say that them being in first is what I expected, but these issues arise when teams are able to just sit back and defend for a little bit and you have nothing to spark something. And I think I've harped on it a lot with Cherokee's addition to City, but that's why I like him so much, is because when we are struggling, when we are passing the ball side to side, he's going to get the ball and attempt something. He's a dreamer, and I think every team kind of needs that to just spark something out of nothing, and Arsenal's missing that to me.
Can it be it's a mix of a lot of things, in my opinion. One, I think that the manager is a little too defensive. Like, I think that that's the default setting, is to pack it in, be physical, right? Like, that's what he's built this team to do, to Mila's point, is to be physical, to be combative, hit on corners, and control games. But there's a level of where I think the great teams have turned that into domination. Arteta kind of facilitates a level of like, let's just see this out a little bit. Like, we won't just put it on teams because we don't need to do that. If we just hold possession, then we are in control of the ball. I think that leads to some other issues, like getting hit on the counter or your players being too hyped in the moment. They make a mistake. But honestly, I to Mila's point about personnel, like, there's a bit of like, is it Arteta because they are being too defensive? But also we're sitting here in the third straight year of Arsenal being in second, now in first, and I'm watching the same fucking lineup that I could have seen 2 years ago, right? Like, Trossard, Jesus, and Saka is what Arsenal have been playing with for so long now that I could have told you that's not good enough. Facundo could have told me that wasn't good enough. And we're sitting here in 2026, and it's the same three guys. Regardless of if they're being direct or not, like, either one, the manager doesn't trust the people that are getting him the players, or he doesn't trust his own standards that he's setting. And I don't really know where to go with that. Facundo, do you feel the same way?
I mean,
Go for it, Grant.
no, I was just going to say, I think you're right, Dylan. He built this team in his image, right? These are the players that he has wanted, but I also think you can't really teach an attacker how to, you can't help them make the right decision in the final third. I think to an extent it comes down to the players and the quality. There's just not enough there to break down. There's not enough. I thought Eze would really be the final touch, but incorrect.
I'm watching Eze play in a deeper role than I've ever seen him play. Against United, he was like super deep. And again, Crystal Palace, he was like always in the box. That's not his role.
Tucker's
That's
also
not
stinks. He's brutal. That doesn't help.
I just don't know if the recruitment's off. Like, maybe in the summer, like Arteta, Facundo, you were kind of harping on this. Like, he wanted C.O.C. That was the guy, and they got him Gyökeres instead.
Yeah, I mean, I was of the opinion that if you weren't going to get Isak, you should get Julian Alvarez, and now we're just doing it 12 months later. I'll say something. So what I thought was uncharacteristic of the team is that you typically associate them with winning their duels and just things of like, you run around and you do all that stuff. And I just felt like against United, other than Declan Rice and Timber, like nobody was winning anything.
Yeah.
So that's where it was a bit uncharacteristic, and you would have thought after halftime, it's like, now we're nipping this in the bud, and they continue to do it. So there's that. I think comparing a player based off a former team to how he is in our team, I don't think you can make direct comparisons just because nobody plays us the way they play us. Like, literally 10, 11 men behind the ball. Even against some of your other teams, they're more willing to admit that they can hurt you on the counter, whereas I don't feel like teams feel that way about us. Maybe they're becoming a little bit more confident this year because we just seem to be getting played right through sometimes. But in general, like, yeah, I agree. I think Eze should be playing. I think you need a bit more creativity in this team. I think he should be playing where Trossard is playing, off the left. Does a lot of the same things, but is just a bit more athletic. And I think that you need that right now in the way that the league is transitioning to. My favorite player is Odegaard. How he played 2-3 years ago was unbelievable. I think I become a bit frustrated with him sometimes, but I just think him and Saka need help off the other side. Like, they haven't been great, particularly Odegaard. I actually think Saka has been great. It's just like, who is finishing these chances? Gyökeres, I mean, the guy gets played through on goal at the end of the game and can't even just lay it off 5 feet away from him to to Eze. He somehow directs it in the opposite direction, 30 yards. So, yeah, I just think it's hard to expect anyone in the attacking line to get any sort of goal production when they've just looked completely inept in front of goal. But I don't think it's just a goal-scoring problem. I think it's a lack of creativity and playing the ball quicker. And I don't know if that's Mikel, because clearly after half-times, they're willing to do it and play a bit quicker. It's just we waste 45 minutes is what it feels like every match. And then I think in the last 3 or 4 league games, I actually think he's gotten the starting lineup wrong in terms of who he's picking up front. Like, you're playing United and you're picking 3 guys, minus like Saka, who will occasionally make runs in behind, that want the ball to their feet. They're not willing to run in behind. But like the game plan from the start, we pressed the hell out of you. We were causing turnovers, just doing nothing with them. And like we were playing the game in the right areas, which is what we typically say of every Arsenal game. It's just, it wasn't enough. You're not doing enough when you're in those situations. It's not risky enough. And like, you have to be in today's league. If you say you have the best defense in the world, then trust them to defend and let your attackers attack. But like, that's my feeling after this game. You know what I'm saying? And granted, it's the last couple of weeks. Like against Forest, you could say, okay, they created enough chances to maybe score a goal and get out of there 1-0. I agree it's not enough. Against Liverpool, you should probably put them to bed at home, and you don't. Again, not enough in my opinion. I don't know. We've had our slump. Just get over it and get back into form. Like that's all you can that's all you can do at this point.
You mentioned something in that last little bit there, and I've been pretty clear. Every single time you come on, I'm going to keep saying it, but it's a moments thing for me, right? Like, can Arsenal be good in the moments? And you mentioned how they weren't able to pick up the points that could have been 12 points clear, but instead you're now looking at a 4-point gap. And some of that comes down to what you were saying about just the team selection and where they're picking their moments. And that's where I'm going to transition this to, like, does it kind of feel like to you that they're prioritizing Champions League a little bit more than they should be at this stage of the season? Like, especially with you guys being in first, like you guys are putting out these lineups where maybe you're being a little more aggressive in Europe, or maybe do you feel like they're just being more free flowing in Europe? I don't know.
I think Europe's a completely different game in which the Premier League is just better at than everybody because of how physical and how much money they all have. So like typically the Premier League teams in Europe are playing well anyways. It's a different game. There's a lot more space for us, which helps us. Like you're not getting a Gyökeres goal like you got against Inter in the Premier League. That's not happening. Everybody's just sitting with 10 guys behind the ball in their own 18. Like you're not getting that much space. So there's that. This is my frustration, is how are you willing to play damn near flawless against Bayern, against Inter, sometimes even rotating, Atleti, like all of these teams in the Champions League, you're willing to do what you need to do at a very high level to win the game. You're winning these games 3-4, whatever, 1. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is it that you can't do that in the league? Teams play you differently. It's a different beast, I think. I do think Arteta has found it, and I think he might have admitted this the other day, but I was thinking it beforehand. Like they're all finding it incredibly difficult learning how to actually play every 3 days. And Arteta's just stuck in this cycle right now where it feels like he's playing the guy that he thinks is in form from the previous game rather than using a combination of that and like who will help me be as successful as possible against this specific opponent. Like Jesus scores 2 in the league, in the Champions League, and then he's starting up front. It's like, come on, like
yeah, you're putting
you
him
needed more of a Gyökeres, I think, even though he's not been great. Like I just think the manager's not made great decisions. I don't think the players have. I don't want to call it like lack of effort, but I really do think that like Timber, Raya, and Rice are like the only 3 guys that I can say go out every game and give me an 8 out of 10. So I think just that's my frustration, is that like things that you don't want to see that I think are probably a little talked about too much, or like it's given too much attention. Because like as chaotic as this all sounds and as negative as I'm being, you're still in first place in the Champions League and you're still first place in the Prem. So like you've played like by your standards absolute dog shit and somehow you're still up in both of those leagues. And I think it's important to prioritize finishing top 2 in the Champions League so that you can play at home or be the home team in those games, essentially. So I don't know. I think he's finding it difficult managing both. I will say that.
Yeah, there's a certain, I mean, that's why like winning a treble or winning a quadruple is like the hardest thing in the sport to do, because you're just being physically asked to do more than any other team on planet Earth is being asked to do. And that's usually why you see a drop off after those seasons for most teams. That's a great point. Like, you guys play the most physical, brutal style of football that there is in terms of like the amount of running and just like contact that is played, especially with the stuff on set pieces. Like, you guys are one of the best set piece teams because you guys physically force teams to play that battle. And most teams can't get up for it. But if you're doing that 3 times a week, that's like a football player playing multiple times a week. There's always that like Thursday to Sunday split that they talk about. And honestly, I had this like thought in the car that Arsenal are just like the Philadelphia Eagles of football, like of soccer, like in the way
I said that like a month ago, bro. I swear I said that like a month ago over here. Like, they take the joy out of the sport. That's what they both do to me.
But if I can make one more point.
Oh, please.
Go ahead.
And we've talked about Mikel kind of reacting harshly to the year before, right? Like with the City 4-1 hammering. I think last year also scarred him, where he feels like he needs to rotate to keep these guys healthy for the end of the year. And it's like, fair enough. I can understand that. But it's also like, maybe just try and go 11 points ahead now so you don't have to worry about having them fit at the end of the year. But that's a very naive, I think, opinion to have, right? Because you could win those games and then everybody gets hurt and now you have nothing. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean,
part of it is also that. Like, I just think he's
did you not, like, they ransacked
they're all
him
overthinking
I think that injury is still affecting his play today. Obviously, he gets double teamed in every game too. But yeah, I could totally understand why he's scarred by that. Like, it has severely impacted players in your team and is still impacting them. So I do agree with you. You have to, unfortunately, when it comes to the injuries, especially if you have specialists in that area saying, hey, this is a risk, you don't run that risk.
Mila mumbled it when you were speaking, but he said pressure. And for me, that's, and I'm gonna toss it to you, Mila, so you can kind of elaborate on that. But when you talk about taking an 11-point lead, like, the pressure on you from a game-to-game perspective just changes. Like, that's what happened with Liverpool last year. We talked about the slippery slope. They had their slippery slope, but nobody else was in striking range. Now, every game that you play is a chance for you to drop points, not chance for you to go 7 clear. And there's a different level of pressure there. Mila, do you kind of want to elaborate on that pressure or what you were going to go and say with that?
I mean, yeah, it was more about the UCL than the Premier League, I think. And it's that they conveniently in the first place for UCL, but there's no pressure and there's no outside pressure from the fans, from the board saying you have to win the UCL this year. If you guys bow out in the round of 16 but walk away with the Premier League, it's a success, a major success, no? Yeah. So that's what I meant. Like, there's no pressure to go and win anything in the UCL, whereas with the Premier League, yes, there is that pressure. This has been some time coming, and now, again, it's gotten to a point where if it starts to get a little bit wavy, the head starts to shake a little bit, the mentality goes. This is what Rodri talked about. And he's not been proven right yet, again. But if this continues this way and it ends up the way that I hope it's going to end up, then I think he was just right. They just can't handle that pressure when it comes down to it. I mean, even saying that Mikel can't handle the pressure of 2 competitions is like, come on. It's pressure. He's been through this pressure for a while now. I don't think saying that it's hard for him to balance the 2, like, most top teams have to balance multiple competitions. So are you a top team, or are you just trying to win a Premier League? Like, I don't know. Which is it?
It's both. I don't disagree with what he's saying. I think that is it's not even just like a this year pressure. It's literally been 3 years of accumulated pressure. So you're literally at like about the peak emotional, like,
But
I don't
why?
even know what to call it.
It's like it's because
But it's that's a
22.
natural human thing, dude. Like, even me as a fan, I'm losing my shit on Saturday or Sunday, like, watching this game because it's been 3 years of just like, oh my God, can we please get over the
then
line?
don't call
Like,
yourselves the best team in the world.
but
That's
they
the
are.
only thing I have. But
They are
but
based
then
on form. You just don't
then
give a
they'd fucking
trophy for
do
that.
it.
You don't give a
Best
trophy
teams in
for
the world
that.
fucking have
Why?
the mentality to win trophies and get it done.
Correct.
So until I
just
see
said
that,
this.
there's no there. Yes, but then it's not that you're not.
I just said you can't pick and choose when to turn it on if you haven't won it before. Like, you haven't been able to do it before. You can't pick and choose when to turn it on. Like, this team, when they play at their best, is the best team in the world. I think you can say that. Like, you could have an argument about it, but I'm not disagreeing with you. Like, you have to go do it. And I still think they're humans. Like, they feel the pressure, if not more.
Every one of these
because they've
players are
done
humans.
It. Like,
But
I
that's my
agree.
point.
I
Like, I've
understand.
seen
But I
other
don't think it's
teams
like
do
some
it.
light obstacle that you overcome. Like, I do think it's incredibly hard. I'm not making excuses for them. They should do it this year. You have to do it this year based off the position that you find yourselves in right now, even considering the last 3 weeks. But I don't think it's just like this light obstacle of like, oh my God, playing 3 times a week isn't like this really hard thing and all this shit. Like, no, I couldn't do this shit. I'd die. I'd be dead.
I'm not saying it's
But you're
not
not a pro
hard. I'm
athlete.
saying all the tough teams have to do that.
Correct.
So it's like
But you're
What-
losing to Bodo Glimt. How are you going to tell
exactly,
me?
bro.
You know what I'm saying?
And
So,
we're
like,
4 points behind you guys.
correct. And
We just had the
we've been
fucking
playing
worst
like
week
dog
of
shit.
my life in a long time, and we're 4 points behind you guys. Where's the mentality for Arsenal to go run away with the league?
Leeds, then I'll allow it. But when your last 4 league games have been Villa, Liverpool, United with Forest away thrown in there, like, I can have some fucking like, okay, like 4 tough games. You had your slippery slope. Now get the fuck off of it. Like, if you don't fix it now, then I'm having a problem. If you
This
fix
is where
it,
the
I don't
mentality
care.
kicks in, though. When the Sharks
Fair enough, but
start
we're
swimming
playing
around
Burnley,
you,
we're
this is
playing
my
Leeds,
point.
we're playing
Yeah,
all
that's
these
fine.
shitty teams. Like, we've
That's
gotten all these
fine.
big games out of the way. Do it. They have to do it. I think we're on the same
I
page.
don't.
Like,
Yeah.
it's a
No,
fucking
I
collapse
know.
if
We
don't
are.
do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just you think they will do it, and I think they will not do it. That's
Yes,
the
correct.
only difference. And
What the question is coming down for Arsenal is this a blip or is this a slide? Right. And that's, to your point, like a game against Leeds. That's where we're going to find out. But we're going to shelf Arsenal for the rest of the episode.
Please.
But I have to ask you the question that I ask you every single time.
Mm-hmm.
I ask about I say the moments thing every time we talk about Arsenal, but I have to ask if Arteta, now we are halfway through a season, you're about to be in Champions League knockouts, and you're probably gonna have that bye. You're currently in first by 4 points. If he goes over, no trophies, is he there after the World Cup?
I think he gets 1 more year to do it.
Okay. I just like to see how that
It's
answer
the first time he's
changes.
never gone immediately no.
Well, like,
Yeah,
I don't
to be
because
fair,
I think
like,
they'll
the
win
answer is
something.
no.
They'll win something, you know?
Yeah,
They're 90
but
minutes
if
away
they-
from Wembley.
If they don't, then, like, I do think he's at least bought himself 1 more year of, like, this is it, and you know it. And then if he doesn't, then, like, he might want to be like, I've given it what I've could for 6-7 years. Like, I couldn't do it. Like, I want to go somewhere else. Like,
yeah.
that's totally fair. That's sports. That sucks, considering we were the laughing stock before, like, United, before, like, Chelsea. Like, Chelsea finishing 12th was like the end of the world. It used to be 8th. Oh my, how the standards have dropped. But, like, it's been a fun 4 years. So, like, do it. Don't let it all go to nothing. You know?
If we hand you another trophy, if we hand this manager his only other trophy, bro, yeah, I can't have that. We need to lock him for that game next week. But yeah, I'm surprised the first time you've ever you didn't even hesitate. You changed your answer to where, yeah, it's about time. And I agree. I think to kind of wrap that whole thing up, are they the best team in Europe? They're definitely capable of beating all the other teams in Europe. They've shown that. I think we said on this show weeks ago, it was their title to lose. The gap has already shrunk by over half since we said that. So we're literally going to find out. We will find out because I do think it can go either way. I think if I publicly say what I want to happen, it will not happen. So I will reserve that until later.
Don't
but
jinx whatever you're about to say here.
we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out.
Yeah, there is a fuck around and find out nature, and that goes into Mila's team, which Mila, you labeled it as the worst week of your life for some time. That's what type of footy that it has a hold on you. City go and play at home against Wolves, which I labeled it as like just the get right game, because I feel like every time like a slide happens or like a blip happens for City, they just play a team like Wolves and they batter them. But I forgot to mention that Wolves hadn't lost in the year 2026, and that every time we predict a 5-something or a 4-something with City, it always ends 2-0. So if you have money and you're watching the predickies and you go, oh, Mila, Dylan, and Grant just predicted something 3 or 4 plus goals in a goal difference, you should just go with 2-0. That's probably what it's going to be.
What did
I
I
don't
But-
give out free advice, but you could just fade all my United picks.
That's also true. That's also true. But Mila, City got right. 2-0 win with Marmouche up front. What did you see?
That Marmouche up front was the most refreshing thing I've seen. And I love Holland. I have a bobblehead and I have a Pop Funko to my left. I have the jersey in my closet. But he's tired. He's gassed. He's offering nothing in the past couple of games. And that's the same player that was automatic bagging goals every game before. So he clearly needed the rest. I know we've talked about it before, but Pep should have been playing Marmouche, and I know why he didn't, because AFCON was on the way and he was recovering from an injury. He didn't do it. Holland played, 20 straight games? Marmouche is back. He bags. Holland gets to wait and watch on the bench, which is perfect for me, especially for someone like him that is lacking in the goals department. When you know that he can get the goals and he sees his competition bagging the goal like that, doing the hard work, the stuff that people have been saying he hasn't been doing in the past couple games, I think that's going to light a fire under his ass. He's not just some scrub of a striker. This is a top competitor, and it's only going to make him better if Marmouche is bagging goals also. That was definitely the first thing. Bernardo back in the midfield running things. It was nice. The biggest thing for me is we kind of attacked in a 4-2-2-2. Yes. Marmouche and Semenyo taking up wider positions, making runs, rather than Holland sitting down the middle. It's just like kind of what you were saying with the United front line. We have that tactical versatility right now to kind of do whatever we want. And we haven't even got all of our best players back. Nico G hasn't come back yet. Ruben Diaz is still out. He should be back for Liverpool, which is a crazy return table for what it was. Guardiola's out. Nunes somehow returned and looked fantastic. Definitely something we've been missing, and I know we're going to talk about that in a bit, so I'll hold off. But it was just a refreshing performance, and I think Reinders was probably the least impactful player on the day, and I think that's fine because we have options now. We don't have to rely on him to get right within the next couple games. And another game, just a tune-up game for Rodri, I think.
Yeah, the one thing that was super stark for me was just how wide everything was. Like, obviously, you pull out Holland, which is like that focal point. Everything just kind of becomes spread. But with Marmouche, who like almost occupied the left wing for large portions of the game, Semenyo is like he's a force multiplier in certain situations. Like, you get him in behind, it's over. Like, this is when we were talking about Arsenal and like the ability to just like, you could have just got a guy. Like, Semenyo was sitting there for everyone to at least have a crack at. And like, City took advantage of it, whether you think that's okay or not. People don't. But like, City were the only people that jumped on the opportunity, put a proposal in front of him and said, come play for us. The only other team that did that was United, and United were in turmoil. So to have a guy like Semenyo in this squad, like it's definitely stark noticing like just the areas that he picks up and just like how clinical he can be. I think people thought that it was just like this similar to Cunha where you're like, oh, this guy just played for a smaller club. When he does thing, it's like because he's getting forced all the opportunities, but it's like, no, this guy's just like a class above. Like, he's so good and he's so modernized Prem where you're just like, oh, he's just going to run at you every single time. And then eventually he breaks through. Yep.
Yeah, and you
Neither
said
side.
clinical, and I think that's the most important part with him, and kind of the thing we talked about the most when the signing was announced, is that's what we were missing. We needed someone to fill in the goals that Holland wasn't putting in at the time. And we can't have one guy that we rely on goals. Like, that's just never going to be
Yeah.
successful. So to bring in someone that is that clinical, that could have had another if he didn't fucking absolutely Ross-clot the shot.
He did Ross-clot the shot.
Like, it's very nice, and it's good that he bounced back quick after not really doing anything against United. I do think a lot of that was a lot more structural. So even for Pep, this was a bounce back game. And yes, it's Wolves. I said it in my review. It's Wolves. It's last place fucking Wolves. We just lost to one of our biggest rivals, if not biggest rivals, hometown, and Bodo Glimt midweek. We needed that win, and this is a mentality team. I know we talked about Liverpool's mentality monsters, but I genuinely think my team are the mentality monsters. Once these guys believe they can do something and put their mind to it, they get it done. And this is kind of what I was saying with Arsenal, is they are not doing that right now, and why I have more faith in my team. A lot of that comes from Pep, though, I think. So, as long as we have him, I'm never going to give up on a title as long as it's in reach.
Hold
And
on. You're not Pep out? That was every Manchester City fan this week. Was they were like, Pep's got to go.
I'm not even
He's
having this
forward.
conversation with you on the pod because we're gonna get canceled. But
I
yeah,
couldn't
no
believe
Pep out.
Yeah.
If you're Pep out, don't come on here. Don't watch
don't
these
watch the
videos.
video.
Yeah, hopefully we don't drop from 200.
No, it might happen after the way that we talked about Arsenal, because we might have like 5 total Arsenal fans that come on only to watch when Facundo comes on, and we may have just totally scared them away with some of the stuff that happened there. I want to switch the conversation. I'm going to have Grant jump in here to the main focal point of this conversation. I know he said that it's Wolves, but Guehi did have his debut, and they kept a clean sheet, and they looked better defensively than they've looked over the last week. Do you think that is just chalked up to the idea that they were playing Wolves, or do you think like his leadership and all the other qualities kind of helped, or both?
I think the Wolves caveat is incredibly important to take into consideration, but with Guehi, was anyone really asking, is he going to be able to fit into anybody's back line? Was anyone ever asking these questions? Like, I don't think so. Something I said about Guehi that he said himself in the intros, like he's jack of all trades, right? Like, I'm not really particularly like the best at anything, but he's really good at everything. He's a captain at his club. Like, this is like a leader. And we talked about, I mean, Mila's harped on it literally since we started this show about Chelsea's back line. Like, you need leaders there. And for as good of a talent as Kusanov is, and I think Elaine even less so just because of how little experience he has in the top flight, like that's a night and day difference when you're putting Mark Guehi into that back line. Now you can comfortably put Kusanov next to him. You don't have to worry about it. Like, you can really, and I think in the future as well, you have guys like Victor Reich coming back. Like, this is a huge addition to the defense. It allows versatility. I mean, if you want to put Guardiola at left back in certain games, again, this is the future. But yeah, I think it's huge to have a personality like that be able to step in and almost calm everything down. I feel like that's really the sort of impact he has.
Yeah, Facundo, as somebody's favorite club that wanted this player apparently in the summer, maybe I'll broaden the scope here, but do you think the signing of Guehi and Semenyo strike any fear into you in terms of what City can do down the stretch of the Premier League?
Not more than I already felt, I guess.
Okay. That's fair.
I don't know. I don't think City's done particularly anything well this year. So I find it hard to believe that we can have this opinion for his team, but not mine. Tough.
Hey man,
they've done it before.
You know what this podcast is.
Some of them have. Some of them have. Like, if he's talking about, like, when he mentions Pep and like Rodri and Bernardo, like that I can understand in a Holland. The rest of these guys, like, I don't want to hear that. They haven't done it either. They've been in worse form and than we are.
Yeah, we went into bad form when our leader went out the fucking stadium in a
We're talking
stretcher.
about the back line here.
Two of them.
Facundo.
Like, I think that's the point.
Lost
And that was my point when we were talking about. That was my point. What?
Nothing. Continue. This is the city segment. Go.
But yeah, this was my point earlier when I was talking about Derby. Is like, yes, I think a lot of those players are good. O'Reilly. I even thought Elaine was playing good, and he wasn't ready for the moment. Kusanov, I think, is a phenomenal prospect and up-and-coming center back. And then we have Rico Lewis, who's just not the best. But none of those guys are leaders, like we were just harping on. And that was my main point with this, is that Gahey coming in, it's not anything that the tackles, the physicality, we all expected that. Like Grant was saying, it's the intangible stuff. The stuff where he's just celebrating with the rest of the guys. We had a freaking dog pile after him and Nico O'Reilly put their bodies on the line to stop a goal. And I talk about it plenty on this pod, but that is one of the best things in footy to me, is when defenders celebrate blocks and defensive actions like goals. And that's what I mean by locked in. And yes, Arsenal does that sometimes. I'm not going to take it away from you, Fac. But it's consistency to do it all the time. And that's what we were missing the past couple of weeks. Kusanov is a quiet center back. He gets shit done. He does everything with his play. He's not a vocal leader that's going to lift someone up and tell them, hey, you did a fucking great job with that tackle. Donnarumma's trying to be that guy. But we still need someone of more just like a comforting presence. And I think Diaz was definitely that guy before. He's going to bring up all the guys that play around him, whether he's playing the best in the back line or the worst. It doesn't matter. And I think Gahey's going to be kind of the same way in that sense, is he's a built-in leader, someone that just captain his club, that can raise the level of the guys around him and bring a little confidence to them, help them play with a little bit of chest. And that's what was more impressive to me about his debut rather than any of the technical stuff, even though he was playing some freaky long balls that I liked a lot.
I'm going to disagree slightly with that idea, because I thought that there were some parts of his game that I was impressed with, just because I've said this like 40 times throughout the course of this fucking pod, but like every City signing that they've made over the last 2 years has been like, oh, I really like that guy. And Gahey is no exception. And the level of calm that he brought to this match in particular is really what kind of set this apart. And when you talk about leaders, like he captained Palace and went through their best period in club history with him as the captain. And I thought the ability for him to just fit in and it be a calm presence in the back was really important, especially next to Kusanov, who there are portions in matches where we watch the LA Galaxy and Emilio Garces is just like this, where you're just like, dude, just fucking chill out for 2 seconds. Like, don't overdo it. Like, just relax. And Gahey, I thought in this one in particular, had a couple of moments of just like, I'm going to put my foot on the ball here. Kusanov, chill the fuck out.
I think
O'Reilly,
you're agreeing
chill
with me, though.
I
don't think we're
am to a
disagreeing.
certain extent.
Yeah,
We're
it's
not.
just-
I'm just talking about
he
the
led
actual...
it with his tactics or his technical ability as well as just being a vocal leader. Yeah.
To your point, like those things
Calming
most of the time
presence.
go hand in hand. Like I actually think that Saliba does this better than most teams or most players do in the league.
Not this weekend.
Not this weekend, but in general, like there's a certain level of like when you're relaxed and you have this just like, oh, okay, I can get the ball to this guy real quick. The game slows down half a tick, and then we can move forward. That's helpful. Like even when Wolves had a chance, it just was neutralized because Gahey just dropped back his step, figured out where to be on the field, and then just reset everything. And that's really what a center back is good for in possession stuff. Is like, can you just reset with them?
He's also just fast. If we're going to talk about any of his attributes that really surprised me was his speed. His speed next to Kusanov, and the two guys we're going to talk about next.
Do you want to talk about them?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about him. Nico and Nunes.
Dude, Nunes back. Lifesaver. Also the fact that whoever said that, I'm not even going to say it, whoever spread those rumors, don't do that. It's fucked up.
Yeah, it's also human.
But he's back, and his impact is like chef's kiss. Like I don't know what to say, because I was very... I never could have seen this coming from Nunes. And we had the pod since last year. Like,
Can I start with that? We're in 2026, and you just said you cannot believe that Nunes changes everything at Manchester City. That's
Dude,
a
and I
crazy
don't
statement.
think I think a majority of City fans can't believe what the hell we're witnessing because he was literally out the squad. He was looking like the second coming of Calvin Phillips, and just a not high price, but hefty priced midfield signing from the Premier League that just can't even get minutes in the squad. And that was the case at midfield. But he's adapted and he's learned the role. He's got rid of the Bozo mistakes. He looks fast, he looks strong, and he's putting in freaking killer crosses to the point where he looks like he could be the best right back in the league. And arguably, I'm not saying he is stamped on. But what? Look at the impact.
I don't think you can
He's missed
argue
2
that
games and look at
if you can
What?
argue his impact on a team, that's important, but I don't think that's the
Yeah,
whole
exactly.
equation. I don't think he sniffs certain players.
Yeah, he's not anywhere near Dalot.
Who's a better right back in the league? Is it just Reece James that we're talking about? Because statistically, I'm pretty sure he matches up with
I'd probably give
He
Timber
passes
that.
him.
I'd give Timber
He
the
passes
edge there.
Timber in every statistic. Every one of them. You're a
Defensively,
stats
I'd
guy.
trust
So
Timber.
what is it? Which is
And
it?
Nunes, I think
no.
Dylan, look at
Nunes
your
is
hat.
much better.
No.
Look at
going
your own
forward.
hat and then answer this
Nunes
question.
is much better going forward. I'll give you that. I think Timber,
Nunes-
you can argue not much better than Nunes defensively,
What's
but he
important to
comes
their
from playing
team?
as a center back. I think I would trust him a lot more. But like you said, the Bozo gene's
No.
getting rinsed out. And I think the more he plays right back, the more that conversation can be had where defensively, I don't even have to think
I'm
about
not
it. It's
questioning
a
anything
question.
defensively with him lately. He's been a rock. No
Lately,
one's getting
and I'll
past
give
him
him that.
lately.
But
No one's getting past him. No one's passing the Nunes test.
Yeah, but like I
need
haven't.
more.
I saw him play Wolves today. You know, I don't know. I think he's in the conversation
Revenge
of
game.
like best right back in the league this season. Like that's
Yeah,
for sure.
that's all
He's in the
I
top
said.
3. He's in the top 3 for me. I think the Timber. If I had to pick a right back today to put in my squad, I'm picking Timber.
Nah.
Like that's
Why?
just my choice. I'm
Why?
gonna go with the larger sample size here. I'm gonna go with the guy that I think has a slightly bigger impact to the overall structure. I think Nunes is great. I also think
I
that
don't think
Nico
he has a
O'Reilly.
larger sample size.
Grant,
He
I'll
does.
I'll
Okay.
answer the question. It's your guy.
I don't think he does.
We'll put it out there. It is the Chelsea
Oh,
player.
bro,
It
For
is
the
none
Reece
of them
James,
are
but-
sniffing him, bro. I don't think
But-
any of the right.
Yeah,
backs in the
that's
league
why
can
I'm
sniff him
not.
in terms
Yeah,
of
if I was to have the
quality,
conversation,
ability.
it's Reece James.
The fact that he's been fit for a year really is what made it happen. Like he's been able to play. But
I also
Nunes
think
has
that
been
they're-
fantastic. I think it's taking away from the whole point of how much of not only a turnaround it's been for him. I mean, he was doing left wing shifts at the beginning of last year, and for a few games it was like, oh, he's looking good. He's making some crosses to Holland. Maybe this is his spot in the squad. So to be able to become a right back and be as good as he is, the fact that this isn't like that wasn't a joke with me. Legitimate conversation that can be had about Nunes and being one of the best right backs in the league. It's a testament to the guy. And I think Nico O'Reilly, he's on the tagline too. I mean, an academy midfielder who is now playing left back at a high level and competing defensively and at his age playing a new position. I mean, I think it's incredible. The fact that these are the 2 guys that are this important to what Man City are currently doing, I think it says a lot.
Yeah, it's a tandem thing for me. Like I think that they lift each other up in a weird way. Like I usually don't talk about tandems of fullbacks where you're like, oh yeah, this fullback lifts up this guy's play. But like Nico
Well, it's
O'Reilly
because
and
they
Nunes
both
together.
have good qualities. They have pretty similar qualities. One of them is just 6'5".
Yeah, Nico O'Reilly's pretty. He's
They're
a
both
fantastic
fast, strong, and can whip a ball in the box. Rico Lewis is not fast or strong.
No.
And his qualities are better in an attacking midfielder role, but he just can't fit into the team in that. Nunes is
Yeah, you can't.
like I don't know.
Brentford.
He's recovery speed. He can bomb forward. He's putting in killer crosses. No one's beating him one-on-one. He's not passing the ball to the other team. I don't know which more I can ask for him. And
He
if
did
you're gonna
pass the ball
pair
to the
him
other team,
next,
too. He did do it once.
Huh?
That's what's living in my brain is they did make one like big mistake this season that I just can't get out. I can't zap it out of my brain. I can't. I don't remember who it was against.
That's
They
like
literally just
everybody else with
every
Kusanov.
player in the
Everyone's still
world has
thinking.
made
I don't know.
mistakes this
I
season.
can't.
Every player.
Zap it. I can't zap
can
it out of my
promise
brain.
you.
It's in there. It's one of those like It's just one of those plays. But I do think that in terms of the overall structure of the team, like you can't be without Gavardiol, Diaz, and Nunes or Riley. Like you can't be missing
Your
that
whole
many
defense.
players in the back line and figure this out. Like Gahey is an awesome addition, but I'm almost certain in saying like if you don't have both of these fullbacks for the rest of the year, I don't feel as confident about you guys getting over the hump of winning the league if one or both of them miss extended time. I think you can
we have
handle
Nori too. I think Nori's more than capable to play there.
But to your point, that's different. Like, and he's not playing
It is
over
different,
O'Reilly.
yes.
They
You
can
know what I
both
mean?
be
So-
got at Nori and Rico Lewis,
Depends on
the
the game.
secondary options in these positions versus I think to what Dylan's point is, like
The
these
big
guys
games.
have been rock solid
Big
for a
moments.
good stretch of games. So
It's also just
Nuri
harder to
maybe
do.
not
Like,
as much. I mean,
if you throw
I've seen-
Nuri in or Rico Lewis in those spots, like you're asking them to do such a big
Rico should
role
not
in
be
this
playing right back at all anymore.
Yeah,
Right,
I don't
so-
know. We should not be referring to him as a right back. Even though he may, like, I don't know. We just don't have
Shouldn't
anyone
play
else
there.
to play
I
there
agree.
at the moment.
That's where they're playing
We
them.
can't
but
put Kusanov there. We don't have another center back to play.
You just don't have that depth.
So it's just out of the question. Yeah. But
You just don't have the depth at right back. So that's why he gets forced there. I don't know.
we don't have a right back on paper.
That's
Not a
also
single
true.
one.
We've been talking about that all year. Nunes has just stepped up to the billing.
James Trafford, your time is now.
That's a perfect point to segue into Chelsea because you're talking about a young player. Chelsea picked
Go
up 3
Shields.
points. Grant, you labeled it as convincing in our group chat, and I think that's a good headline for this. Like this was the first convincing win under Rossinier. So take us through a 3-1 win against Palace.
Yeah, I mean, I think relative to what we've seen, I definitely would say it was convincing. Just really the scoreline. It's huge. Again, I think there's still a lot to be desired in terms of what we're doing and what we're doing in the long run, the path. But I mean, we were up 3-0 at one point. I thought the way we ended the game was pretty shocking, to be honest with you. We were very pragmatic. They were down a man, and we fully just let them come back into the game, and they eventually scored on a set piece. We still can't defend them. Robert Sanchez was phenomenal again, like you guys were talking about with other players throughout today's episode. I cannot believe how important he is. He has been phenomenal. He was great again. I really think most of our team was pretty solid on the day. I mean, you got leaders. You're starting to see leaders out there. You're starting to see guys take accountability and lead by example. A lot of these guys, they're still really young, but they've been playing every week for years with this club now. They kind of get it. And I think Enzo Fernandez, again, he's played in a million different positions. Comes on, he gets a penalty at the end of the day, but I thought his performance was pretty solid. 2 guys I really particularly wanted to touch on, though. João Pedro, I feel like he's been inconsistent. Introduced us to a crazy vibe this summer and then kind of teetered off for a few months, but I'm starting to see him play with a lot more intensity and play and really lead the line. Is he a 9? Is he a 10? He's a 9. Do not want to see him playing the 10. I thought he was fantastic in this game. He stopped really trying to play hero ball, just started to make the right plays. And he's a quality player. So if you really are able to harness that, I mean, you'll see the results. Like the goal he scored was pretty good, tough angle, made it work. And Andre Santos was another guy I thought was able to play really well here. Again, didn't really get much game time under Maresca. He's played under this manager before, but he was sitting the deepest out of possession, allowing Caicedo to go press forward and just go win the ball in Palace's half, and unleashing Caicedo like that and being able to trust someone in that defensive midfield position to cover. I mean, I think that allowed us to press a lot better throughout the game. We've seen a lot of gusto and Reece James in midfield, and although I think especially Reece has done a good job there, they're not natural. They haven't played there their entire lives. And Andre Santos, I still think, has room to grow in possession, most definitely. But out of possession, he's already reading the game very well. Ton of tackles, cuts off a lot of passing lanes. I'm really liking what I'm starting to see with him. I thought the balance in that midfield was just good today. And the defense wasn't really asked to do too much for me. But yeah, 3-1 away. And Palace have been in a horrific period right now on and off the pitch. doesn't matter. These are the type of games where, oh, Mateta's struggling for form, we'll give him a brace. Like, no, that cannot be happening. I am disappointed we didn't get the clean sheet, but to be able to win like this was nice for a change. To be comfortable during the game was nice for a change.
Yeah, for Rosenior, like this is a very important junction of the rest of Chelsea's season because this January was difficult. You went through a really tough period in December, and February is still relatively comfortable outside of the Champions League mayhem, and we'll get to that later in future pods. But this is where you have to be picking up points, and Crystal Palace are awful right now. I think it's 11 straight games without a win. Like they're just they're grasping for life. But after that, once you get past February, like the rest of the season is brutal for Chelsea. Like if you go look at their stretch, I'm not going to put it up on the screen or anything, but you don't pick up 3 points here. And we talk about this game at the end of the season as like Chelsea missed out on Champions League by 3 points, and it was because they dropped points against a Crystal Palace team that hadn't picked up points in 11 matches or hadn't won a game in 11 matches.
It's one of those games this season. Yeah.
Right. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But from a convincing standpoint, it was about the players who were on the pitch today or yesterday for Chelsea. And there's one player in particular that this podcast has been just like over the fucking moon about. And he finally started, and he came away with a goal and an assist. And I'm saying it's no time like the present. This guy's got to start if he can every single week in the Premier League. Like, pick your poison on what you want him to play in every week. But in my opinion, like he's got to start if it's whether it's in the Premier League or the Champions League, you pick your spot and you say you're starting every game right wing for me. Mila, do you feel differently about Estevao here?
I'm not going to act like I've been watching Chelsea games lately, but I am a big fan. And yeah, if he's starting to get involved more, then it's a no-brainer for me. The guy has to play. That was kind of the big thing that we were complaining about from Maresca on the pod. I think collectively.
Yeah.
I know Grant had his own issues from time to time, but for the most part, I agreed with a lot. But yeah, Estevão needs to play. There's a reason you brought him in. There's a reason he is so highly touted. And there's no better time for him to adapt than now, when there's not really expectation, and let him shine when there's a chance to. I think it's pretty simple for me. Just give him the minutes to develop. If that's the game plan for Chelsea, you got to fucking play the players that you bought to develop. It's simple. Yeah.
Yeah, Facundo, do you before you get into your soliloquy, because I bet you have a soliloquy on Estevao. You probably you should. He's fucking awesome. Facundo, Estevao for you, is that a player for Chelsea that can kind of springboard them into the next phase of whatever their rebuild is, or is this just like a flash in the pan to you just this season?
I don't think you can the answer to that question with this board. So I mean, I would imagine he stays on this team, like he should. But you never know. Like, if they feel like they can profit off of him and they buy some other youngster that they feel like is better, you'd never really know. But I would keep him in my team. I still think the more he plays, the more likely he will look like he can struggle against the physicality over a longer period of time, I think. So there's probably that you have to take into consideration when you're managing his minutes. But for the most part, like, if he's showing that he can handle it and he's being productive in his minutes, then like reward the form, I guess, because what's the alternative out there? I know I'm not going to get Grant started on Neto, so like
it's a perfect segue.
Play him.
Perfect segue, really, because that's my whole argument at this point. I understand the physicality aspect. He played in an incredibly physical league. Every time I'd watch comps of him when he was at Palmeiras, I was getting scared that he'd get his leg taken off every week. But it's a different level in the Premier League. It is different. And I think from the time he signed until now, he's already grown leaps and bounds there. I mean, you saw it in the goal he scored. He immediately creates separation from Tyreek Mitchell, an experienced defender in the league, and outpaces him. maybe took an extra touch, but he's still able to put the finish away. And like you just said, Facundo, what are our other attackers doing in that situation? How many cutbacks would Pedro Neto do before hitting it out of Selhurst Park? You know what I mean? Like, I saw more quotes with Rossinier talking about pretty much exactly what we don't want. And, oh, yeah, we got to make sure this, that. And I think he's just really well-spoken. We don't ever get into that with me on this. But Estevao is so much better than our current wide options that there's really no excuse. And like Dylan was saying, these are incredibly crucial games to pick up points. Our schedule in March is disgusting. These are the perfect games where we're talking about it earlier with Arsenal. You don't have anything to unlock a low block. That's the type of player that unlocks a low block. I mean, you saw in the assist too, the 1-2 he plays with Joao Pedro. There's an understanding there between the two players, obviously, but I'm sorry, Neto doesn't have that. Neto does not have that. And I'm looking at the foot mob on my screen right now. 10 green ratings. Anyone want to have a fucking crack at who had a 6.4 and got taken off?
It was Neto. I saw the
Number 7. And I'm also glad that throughout that game, we stopped funneling him chances, because that's really when we see Chelsea kind of get frustrating. It's when they're side to side and then, oh, it's a 1v1. It's Garnacho. It's Neto. When it's Estevao and it's a 1v1, oh, wait a minute. What's he about to do? And he's going to try and neg someone and lose the ball. Sure, he will go right back and do something again. He will just keep going. Like, we saw it last year with Matchweek, but there's still no end product with him. With Estevao, it's different. This guy's different gravy, and I don't care if he's 18 years old. He is better by a mile than every other wide option we have as of right now. So he's got to play if we want to win games. Obviously, there's going to be certain games, especially when Cole Palmer is available, or maybe you don't need Estevao, but especially with Cole Palmer out, you need that in your attack.
Yeah, not to harp on recruitment, but when we talked about Patrick Dorgu earlier, that's what Pedro Neto is. A guy that you can put in a big game and ask him to run his socks off and play off the back foot.
He'd be a sick wing back, by the way.
When you ask him to do the extra stuff, he doesn't got it like that. And Estevao's got it like that. This kid is wicked. Like, I don't think I'm going to say something and I might regret it. I don't think we've seen a talent like this in the Premier League in a long time. Like, I just don't. I can't think of a talent like this where I am like genuinely turning on Chelsea matches to watch a player, because I think that he is a outright superstar. And the fact that he's not playing week in, week out is a disservice to the Premier League. It's a disservice to Chelsea. I watched Lamine Yamal play for Barcelona week in, week out. They're the same fucking age. Like, just play the fucking kid. Let him get all the experience in the world, because the worst thing that happens is this year we find out that Estevao physically isn't ready enough for the Premier League. And you know what you do? You just reduce his minutes from there and you tell him, hey, this summer, that's what we're working on. Go to the World Cup, do your thing, and then we'll just fucking figure it out from there. But this
kid literally mogged Lamine 2 months ago. Like, not to say he's at that level. Lamine's been doing it for a little bit now, but that is the type of talent we have. Yeah, he's got to play, man. And again, he's just so much better than every other winger. Like, I cannot emphasize it enough. I cannot watch Neto, Garnacho attempting to take on their fullbacks. It's tough. I don't enjoy it.
I don't either. As a neutral, I don't enjoy it. I do enjoy it as a rival, though. It is very enjoyable watching you guys do that week in, week out, where I'm like, that's fucking awesome. Facundo would love for that to be the case in a week's time from now, where, you know, you guys do some stupid shit like that. Before we get into the next segment, Facundo or Mila, do you have any thoughts on this next segment? Like, any at all? Because I can't say that I do.
The next one?
Yeah. Do you have any?
I forgot what the next one is.
The next one is about the recall player, Aaron.
Oh, no, I don't.
Facundo, I'm going to give you the time here. If you want to say anything nice or mean about Chelsea, to do that here, because this next segment, I'm just going to let Grant go on a soliloquy, and then we'll just get out of here, because I have nothing to say about it either.
I don't either. I find them to be stupid. That's what I'll say. And I'll have it.
Good. No, that's the perfect segue. We'll leave it right there. We think Chelsea are stupid for this. Grant, go ahead.
Thank you, man. Yeah. So, I mean, I've talked about it a little bit on the channel now. The Jeremy Jaquette news comfortably came out a day before our protest was planned, which obviously that protest didn't really do anything. And they got our hopes up. We saw a lot of briefs. Chelsea are very confident in signing a center back. And now they're looking at Douglas Luiz on loan. And they're going to do something. And quite frankly, we've seen the same exact story for years now. I think I told you guys, I probably didn't say it on the pod, but we're just going to recall one of our center backs and be like, oh yeah, that was the plan the whole time. Well, that's exactly what they did. And we're even seeing today that there's more planned in the next few days. It's going to be hectic. I heard we needed to judge this ownership group on a 4-window basis, and that 4 windows ended last summer. So again, I'm fully fed up with this shit. And it's not the players' fault. I mean, we see the video today. This guy's playing at a Champions League club, a massive club in Europe, and he's crying because we bought him. We loaned him back 10 years. Then we brought him back when he was hurt. Then we dragged him for the Club World Cup. Then we sent him out to Dortmund. And now we're recalling him again. Like, the guy needs to play. Like we were talking about earlier, like, just because they're talented players, like, you don't just simulate a year and they go up by 4 overalls. Like, these guys need minutes. And from what I've seen from Dortmund fans, I mean, the reason we recalled him, part of it was we need probably going to play the fucking kid 3 times, and now he'll really want to leave. But apparently Dortmund were tapping him up. They wanted to buy him on a permanent. They would have offered us £2 million. Like, they're cheap. Oh, we ruined the relationship. Good. Fuck them. They're cheap. They're trying to lowball, trying to tap up our players. I don't care about that. It's just fucked up to the player, man. It's just fucked up to this player. Like, do you guys, I know it's a rhetorical question, does anyone think that he's going to start anytime soon in an important game? No, of course not. The guy's
New
not
manager. I don't know. Who knows?
Sure, maybe. I would love it. But if anything, the 2 center backs we have on loan, who's more ready? The kid who just started playing in Europe and, maybe he'll get a few games here and there at Dortmund before getting hurt, or the guy that just won the AFCON and that is currently captaining his team.
That's the point, though.
You just
why
stole
would
their
you rip that guy out?
Steal their vice captain because you're stealing their captain in the summer as well. Like, why are we so tangled up? I mean, again, that's a question. These guys are morons. But again, we operate like fools. I think intelligent and informed people can see that from a mile away. Facundo, fair play. You've been saying it for a while now. Haven't seen the light until recently. Been too deluded.
Don't call him intelligent.
The guys
and
running
informed.
the
Don't
guys,
do that.
The guys
That's
running
why
this
they call
club-
me Unk. That's why
the
they
guys
call
running
me
this club
Unk.
are morons. Is
Wise
what this
with
tells
age.
me. And mind you, we can still sign Jaquette. I think from what I've seen, he would be great. I don't think we would bring him in now in the summer. We need help now. We have prospects already. This is one of them. Mamadou Sarr is the other one. As good of a prospect that is, that does not address a current first team issue right now. So I don't know how I feel about it. I just find this team a circus, and the way they're operating it is shambles. Like, do not put out briefs saying you need a center back now, and then go on to, we'll get Jaquette pre-agreed in the summer. We'll bring Anselmino back. No, we need a guy now. We need a guy that can play now.
It's all just, the briefs are all just freaking to keep the stock high. That's literally all it is.
Yes. It's a disgrace.
To appease shareholders and to say, hey, we got to take it care of, don't worry. And then when you do what you do, you go, hey, actually, we loaned this guy and it cost us nothing. And then the shareholders go, oh, yay. And like...
These guys planned on giving Buonanotte back in January because they didn't find ample cover. You were talking to Xavi Simons for 2 months. Don't tell me there wasn't ample cover. You didn't have enough money to register him for a UEFA competition. You brought in Buonanotte on loan. You fucking played him once in the league. Now he's at Leeds. He's coming off the bench for Leeds. That's the guy we brought in our team to replace Palmer, who we knew was hurt, who we knew was carrying an injury. These guys are idiots, and they got a 6-year contract extension before the window shut.
Your fans are idiots. Because you guys give 2 more fucks about the transfer window than you do about your own actual season. You guys made Fabrizio all of his money by giving a shit about the transfer window religiously. And this is what you get. Karma's a bitch.
I was
don't feel
preoccupied
any
this
sort of
summer,
sorry
Facundo.
for you guys.
I'll be real. This summer, I was a little more
You
preoccupied.
guys have been doing this for. You guys have been
World
doing this since
Championship.
the Mudryk days.
But no, you're right.
Hijack the deal. Oh, I don't give a fuck.
I'm guilty. Oh, bro, the Mudryk deal? That tweet came out when I was at your place. I was lit. I wanted it just because you guys wanted him. We were in 12th.
And now look at where you
Probably
are.
in 14th, though. They've got a big, obnoxious gold badge. Does that mean anything to any of these guys? Clearly, no. They still don't have a sponsor. Perfect epitome of these guys. There is still no sponsor on the shirt. There's still no sponsor on the shirt. What are we doing? What are these guys doing?
Grant, there is something slightly poetic about you praising about this stuff and then not transfer hyping that up, and you're wearing a Clippers hoodie. That is like stereotypical Clippers thing. Like, kill the summer, get into the season, fuck it up, get hype again in the summer. Like, that's
off-season chance.
There is slightly something poetic there. But I'm tired of talking about Chelsea. I literally gave the entire last segment for you to just ramble because like I just
appreciate that. Hey, Cup Final Wednesday. It's a Cup Final.
We've had that stupid fucking conversation about what Chelsea are doing with their board. Like,
I text it to you guys every morning.
Month. It's the dumbest shit.
I text it to you every morning.
No, it's hilarious because it's like, oh, okay, we're just gonna like literally like if the horse was half a horse because we had already beaten one half of it dead, the other half is literally just getting constant.
Hey, this is the plan, guys. This was the plan all along. Get the fuck out. This was not a plan. You guys don't have a plan. We're flipping dudes and we're
unreal.
Fuck off.
Grant, I have a recommendation for front of kid sponsor. Aspiration LLC.
I don't know what you're talking
Should have
about.
Robin Hood. Should be a
Robin Hood's
stock
good
program.
Kalshi?
Yeah.
Damn it. We just gave a bunch of random things extra. Do we get a sponsor for this?
Yeah, Todd and the rest of you assholes listening to this, give us some money for that.
I'm charged. Todd's not the fall man. Clearing his name. I gotta stop seeing graphics with Todd Bowley's face. It's not.
All right, we are running way long. Let's get into the predickies and let's get out of here. Ellen Road, Leeds versus Arsenal. Facundo, you're first.
Gooners 5-0. Thank you.
Wow, that means it's going to be 2-0. Everybody go to the sportsbook and put down a 2-0. I think Leeds are going to make it a game, but I do think Arsenal will get back on track here. I'm going to go 3-1. 3-1 Arsenal.
Back on track.
It's a 1-1.
I was fucking gonna say that. Put both of us down for a 1-1.
Your guys' man of the match, and then our man of the match
Stack.
after. Stack.
Give me a second. Go. You in fact do yours first.
Ep.82, he's Chelsea.
I want to go safe, but I also don't. So I'm gonna go safe. I'm gonna go with Rice. Rice is the man of the match.
Bukayo
Saka. You feeling a little, downloadable
everybody's
content?
Everybody's gonna be reminded.
It's gonna be Matchweek on the road.
I'm sure we will be reminded.
Actually, no, he's resting midweek.
Mila, there is a very, very safe American choice you can pick here if you.
I know. I was looking at Aronson. I think I'm gonna have to go Aronson.
Okay, USA.
He's been on a good run of goals. So if
special
he bangs
shout
one, he
out
bangs
to-
one.
Chris Richards scored in his 100th appearance for Crystal Palace. USA. We have to get in every US prop that we can. Chelsea host West Ham. I'm gonna go. One of the most informed teams in the league, West Ham. I don't know. Castellanos 1-1.
4-1. I
Me
think
too.
we pop them. Them.
Literally the last two. If anyone's watching, you just got to go put 2-0 on a bet here.
I'm going to.
And you know what a safe pick is for player of the game? It's Moises Caicedo.
Moises
good.
Caicedo.
4-1.
I'm going
4-1
2-1
Moises
West
Caicedo.
Ham. With a Somerville man of the match.
Whoa.
This man's on fire.
It's on fire.
On Reese's head.
Facundo.
2-1
Happens.
shells. Pedro Neto.
Nice. That's what I
Incredible.
like to hear.
I'd rather have heard 8-0 ham.
The next game on the docket is Manchester United hosting Fulham. Grant, you can start this one.
You said Manchester United hosting Fulham. I mean, that's an easy day out for Manchester United. I'm going to have to go 2-0. And I think Benjamin Šeško scores a brace. No doubt. He's coming right back into the lineup.
Stop jinxing my club.
It's just
all right, Mila.
Oh, dang. 3-2. Fulham.
You're going to pick someone with an
Bob.
H in their name, aren't you?
No.
Bob debut.
Dang. It could be a Bob debut.
No. He's hurt.
Bob down the middle. No, he's not. I talked to you guys about this.
I know, that's why I brought it up.
No, I'm not gonna go Bob. I think I'll go Anthony Robinson.
Dude, you were on a USA roll today.
Yep, I'm feeling
You were on
it.
a USMNT roll. Facundo.
3-1 United. Mbumo.
That seems like a safe pick as of late. I think we win 2-0. And I'm going to go with Ahmed because I think that while the GAs have been quiet, he has been steadily one of United's best players. And I think he finally gets back on the score sheet today or next week. And then the final game, which is probably up there for biggest game of the weekend with Liverpool and Newcastle, is City traveling to the worst home stadium currently in the Premier League, which is Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
But the city hate that game.
There is a bogeyman
City
aspect to
hate
this.
that game.
They hate that game.
Tottenham in the relegation zone if they drop
dog.
points any further. But if they don't
Very
drop
Tottenham,
points,
wouldn't it?
Arsenal have a better chance to win the title. It's the meme. This is what I've been
happened
saying.
again.
It's literally the meme of if Tottenham could choose to get relegated or let Arsenal have an easy run at the title, like what would they do? Who knows? Thomas Frank probably going to win this game.
They're losers.
to
They would
save
want to
his
get
job.
relegated.
Yes, but Thomas Frank likes his job, and he wins
Oh,
convenient
for sure.
times.
He's going to play. Yeah, they're playing to win.
Yeah, no, we should be able to. 3-0 City.
Yeah. Who's your man of the match?
Let's go Semenyo.
Damn it. Took my man of the match. I'm going to go with Semenyo as well. I think this is the game that ultimately puts the nail in the coffin for the Frank era at Spurs. I think that they lose 4-0. Facundo, how you feeling?
5-0 City. Man of the match is Christian Romero because he gets a red card.
If he gets a red card, that game's a 1-0.
You, my friend, are a loyal fan picking a team that is chasing you to win 5-0 just so that Spurs get their ass beat. That's impressive.
No, they just suck. I would love if
Fair.
Spurs. You know when I gave up on Spurs because I need to go, is when fucking Son missed that 1v1 against.
Yeah, fair enough.
Was it Sergio? Whatever. I don't even know what his name is, but yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
All right,
Tottenham
Grant.
have 5 points at home all year. Yeah, they're going to lose 2-0. Holland, both of them.
Fair enough. Alrighty. Well, that's where we'll end it. If you want to make a lot of money, do not put money on anything we picked because it's not. It just hasn't been good as of late. But that's okay because this was episode 82, our 200th subscriber special. Thank you guys so much for all the support. We do genuinely love it. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, do all the fun stuff. Facundo, thank you as always for joining us on an 1 hour and 40 long episode. I think that's a record. for 200 subscribers. I think that's a record. But I'm Dylan. That's Grant. That's Mila. And Facundo is next to me on the bottom. And we will see you guys in the next one.
2 words for him. Different gravy. Glorious goal! Wreathed in red. We're really seeing the most extraordinary finish here. On this day of days, has he delivered? Just magnificent! Potentially life-changing! That's football. Minute you let it under your skin, then you begin to make it better.